Today we're continuing our Watch Terminology 101 mini-series. Zach, today we're going to be talking about straps and bracelet terms. Let's start off with link.
Sure. So a link is well, in most cases is the removable portion of the bracelet. So if you buy a watch with a bracelet, generally you're going to have a few links taken out to actually size it down. They allow the bracelet to be articulated so it's comfortable on your wrist when you're moving it.
Okay. Well, let's dive right in then. What is the difference between a strap and a bracelet?
So strap is going to be anything other than metal, essentially. So whether we're talking about a leather strap or a rubber strap or a fabric strap, that's going to be where you use the term strap, where a bracelet is purely either steel or precious metal, bronze. It's some sort of solid metallic bracelet.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, so we went over link. Now tell us what the difference is between a link and an end link.
Sure. So an end link is the actual part of the bracelet that goes between the lugs and creates that point where the bracelet is fastened to the actual watch itself. Okay. And then again, your link is just, any one of the articulated links. Most of the time they're removable for sizing further on down the bracelet.
Got it. Tell me about deployant clasp.
So deployant clasp is, honestly a great way of having a clasp on a strap. So with a traditional strap, you've got what they call a tang buckle, and you have to bend the strap backwards to put the little pin through it. A deployant clasp takes the need for that out completely, so it's going to prolong the life of your strap. So it's essentially a fold-over buckle. So your, the base plate is here. You hit the little buttons, and it comes up like this. Allows you to take it off, and then you snap it back down into place. Once it's either off of your wrist or on your wrist.
Absolutely. Okay, so quick release.
So quick release, we're mainly talking about quick release lugs in this case. So they're going to have either a couple little knobs on the bottom that you actually squeeze and push together, and they're technically part of the spring bar in that case, or there's some sort of button, there's some sort of latch system, but there's some way of getting that bracelet or strap off without using tools. That's the big thing. Your traditional ones, you're going to have to use a spring bar tool or something else to get in there and depress the spring bar.
Okay, then that moves us right along into spring bar.
Yes, so that is it's a little bar, and on either end it can be compressed to make it fit inside of lugs or whatever else you've got going on before springing back out into place to actually lock it into place.
Okay, so that's why you hear oftentimes if you're talking about tools, a spring bar tool is one of the top, probably one or two that come up, but definitely in your top 3 or 4. Yep. So what would a spring bar tool be used for?
So it is on one end. Generally, it's going to have like almost a C shape, and you are going to slide it in between your strap or your bracelet and use that to depress the spring bar. Most spring bars have shoulders on the end, so when you slide the tool in there, it makes contact with that shoulder and it allows you to depress it. The other end of a spring bar tool generally just has just a straight pin, essentially. And you use that for when you're adjusting an old school micro adjustment where you have to use tools to adjust that micro adjustment.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about micro adjustment.
Sure. So if you have basically, easiest way I can say, or the most guaranteed way you're going to see it, is if you're looking at like an old school bracelet watch and you look at the clasp on the side of it, it's got these little holes in it, right? So the problem with bracelets is you've got a full-sized link. Some of them have a half link, but once you take that out, that's a certain amount of space. So what happens if your wrist size is just kind of in between, right? Either you take one extra link out and now it's too tight, or you just have to wear it loose, right? Wrong. You've got that micro adjustment on the side of your clasp, so it has a spring bar in it as well, and you on one that requires tools, you actually are going to push the end of a spring bar in, and then you're going to walk it either in or out, depending on what you need, to the next little hole. So your average clasp or old school clasp has maybe 3 holes in it. Nowadays, most micro adjustments are using a push button or something else of the sort. So, you just open the clasp up, put your thumb down on whatever button it is, and then you can slide it in or out. Or tag and also my Oris right here, you actually have it where you can adjust it while it's on your wrist. So you're just depressing the buttons, and you can actually loosen or tighten that micro adjustment clasp on the fly.
Very nice. I like it on the fly. I tell you, that's a really nice, easy way to do it. My wrist swells a lot in the summertime. We're in the middle of summer right now where it's about 837-ish degrees outside, it feels like. And so a watch that fits me one way in December is not going to fit me the same in July or August here in the South. It's just the way it is. And so that's nice for me. I'll find myself putting on a watch if I haven't worn it in a while and seasons have started to change, have to take it off real quick. And the first thing I'm looking for is, can I adjust this really quick while I'm sitting in my truck before I take off, kind of thing. Yep. So next to the last on our list is perforated straps.
Sure. So perforated strap, rally strap, there's a few different terms, but essentially it has holes in it. Generally, we're talking about leather or rubber here, that are going to allow kind of ventilation, so your wrist isn't going to sweat so much underneath it. So rally straps are generally larger holes. You've got your some of them have finer, like if you've ever seen a rubber Zodiac strap, or your Diver 65 in bronze has the perforation on there, and it just allows a little bit more breathability for your wrist. You're not going to sweat as much.
I tell you, this is the watch you just referred to, this Oris here. When I put it on, I tell you, that was probably the most comfortable strap I have ever put on.
There you go.
And we'll show you up close pictures of that here in just a second, so if we haven't already. We want to take a moment to ask you to like, share, subscribe, and comment. We truly appreciate each and every one of you taking your time out of your day to watch us and to hear what we have to say. And we're just 2 guys just trying to grow a YouTube channel, so those likes and subscribes are definitely important to us to help the algorithm out and to help us out to grow our little project here. We ask you to hit something up in the comments. We'd love to get back to you. Any questions you've got or any experience you've had or funny stories you've got about using a spring bar tool and, the spring bar go flying across the room. I think everybody's been through that. But any tips you've got for using any of these tools as we bring them up as well. We thank you so much for that and your time. Zach, the last thing we have is the pass-through.
So a pass-through strap is going to be a strap that, instead of attaching through your between both of your lugs and having essentially 2 pieces, it's a single piece strap. So you thread it through your spring bar, it goes under the case back, and then it comes back up between the lugs through the other spring bar. NATO strap is generally what you associate that with, but you've got a few different options there. In fact, Omega does some really nice leather ones that are really, really good looking, very, very soft. They're nicely done straps.
And Zach and I would love to thank y'all for watching. We really appreciate your time, and we'll see you soon.